Hi, happy Friday. Make sure you guys can see my dress. Hi, how are you doing? Oh, we made it to September. Oh my gosh. I thought that, I don't know about you if we would ever get here, but I am super excited that we did. We made it. It is the last month of the third quarter. So I hope whatever you decided to do in your business this year wasn't derailed, number one. And number two, when you pivoted, I hope that you have been able to successfully get to that goal, right? And if not, we have a couple more months left in the year, but honestly, to get it ahead of the game next year in October, you're really going to want to start devising your plan for 2021 in your business. So that's like setting goals, figuring out what it is that you want to achieve, what metrics you're going to be looking at. So we'll get into planning for 2021 probably next Friday. Will probably be our next live topic. So hello. Happy Friday. It's our date night. I missed you so much. So let's go ahead and roll right into it. Okay, so tonight's Friday night live session is actually being sponsored by The Ready Writer, right? So you're like, Antonia, who is this wonderful, awesome company with a very clever name? Well, the owner of The Ready Writer, her name is Takia, and she has been a teacher for decades. Obviously, she goes by Takia the teacher. She actually has just this amazingly acute, keen eye for detail and for copy and for editing. And now she is not only a copywriter, not only a copy editor, now she is a fully functioning published author. So it's super exciting. I actually just recently met her probably a couple of months ago. And again, I always call the people that I meet and that I shout out the lights of my life. She is definitely a light that I'm so happy she's come into my world. And she just has taken my copy and my emails and clients that we share mutually to the next level. So if you're needing somebody to create an ebook or to edit your book or to edit your emails, she is definitely the go-to person. And she is also, on top of everything else, extremely techie, right? She probably don't want to admit it, but she's very, very techie. I think she's like writing a course. Oh, she said hi in the comments. Hi. I think she's in the process of writing a course for like coding that my children will definitely be taking because they are code fantastic. So that is Takia the teacher. Thank you so much for sponsoring tonight's Friday night live session. All the kisses to you. So tell me what your weekly wins are. I'm seriously interested to hear how you guys finished out the month of September, because I know that a lot of people have been doing a lot of different things. There's a lot of different sales going on. People are launching courses, people are launching websites. All of these big things are going on. I put actually in the comments one of my weekly wins for this week. And if my team is watching, I want to say a big shout out, kudos, and thank you to you. It's because of them I was able to win 2 bids on 2 different projects. So I absolutely love it. And as always, the topic for tonight is definitely going to tie into my win. So I was able to bid on 2 jobs, 2 projects, and the only way that I was able to confidently send a proposal was to know that my team was able to take care of things while either I'm working on a project or someone else on my team is working on a client project too. So it's all about teamwork and doing things together, which is the reason why I was able to win those 2 bids. And hopefully, actually one of the projects are going to be starting like tomorrow. So super excited about that. So the other win that I had this week, so make sure you tell me what your win is in the comments. Don't forget. But the other win that I had this week was I actually found little spurts of time each day to finish this book that I'm reading for now, like the third time. I'm reading it for the third time. It's by Nellie Galan and it's called Self-Made. And basically it deals with business. Shocker, right? But basically, she was the first self-made woman in her family. So she started as an entrepreneur while she was a child, and then she sold candy at school, and then she worked her way up to being like the first Latina woman owner or part owner of Telemundo. So she's a super big inspiration for me, and she breaks down things very well in her book. And it's just very engaging, insightful, and it definitely keeps my attention. So I absolutely loved it. So I would like to do something different if you don't mind, right? So instead of doing what I want to know or what I learned, I'm going to tell you exactly what I was reminded about today. So we're never too big, for, obviously God, right? So you don't want to grow out of your britches, so to speak. But basically what I was reminded of today is that you are never done learning. There's always going to be something new. And if a client or customer comes back and says, you know what, this is wrong, or this doesn't work, or this is broken, you shouldn't automatically go to it being you were the cause of it, right? You should go in with a logical, analytical mind and say, okay, what's broken? It was working before. What has changed? And feel free to stay, keep your head down in those help guides for whatever software and tech that you're using. Keep it together, right? So never stop learning. Never, ever think that you're just automatically wrong because something's not working. Something could have changed. And software developers update and change things all the time. So don't worry about that. So let's see. All right, so let's go ahead and just roll in to tonight's business topic. So delegating like a CEO. I love to delegate. It probably gets me in trouble sometimes. I used to be the opposite. I used to hoard things and try to keep things very close to my chest and not try to get help, not, tell people that I don't know something because I was fearful. I was afraid that I wouldn't look like an authority figure. I was afraid that someone would question, my degree or where I went to school or my level of competency. And in my career, I'm always usually the youngest person there. I mean, not anymore because I'm older, but typically I used to be always the youngest person around and I was calling the shots for the most part. So asking questions was always a big no-no for me. But now I delegate all the time. But the key is to delegate properly. So there are some right and wrong ways to delegate tasks off to your team. I'm not going to talk about the wrong ways, really. We're going to talk about the right ways because we're always thinking about the positive and we're always thinking for success. And that is where our mind is going. So when you are thinking about delegating something, or a task or an action or a request or whatnot, you want to make sure that you are delegating out of need and not necessarily out of desperation. So what does that mean? Basically, what that means to me is that you want to make sure that you're not waiting until the very last second and you are just freaking out and you don't really know what else to do other than to, just throw something at somebody. You can aggressively, I don't know if you know, but you can aggressively throw something at somebody via an email, via a text, and you don't even have to lift an arm. But that's not what we would want. So you shouldn't do that to someone else too. So a good CEO would never delegate a task out of desperation. They would do it because the business is needing it at that time. Now, a CEO would definitely have their thumb on the pulse of their business. So they should know when would be a good time to hand something off to someone else. So that means that you actually have to pay attention to a multitude of things inside of your business, not just the clients, not just the P&L, not just the money and the revenue coming in, but you also need to pay attention to your processes. And if something is working, if it's not working, does it make sense for me to give this to someone whose skill set is not as wide as someone else that could be working on a lot more higher level advanced things? So you really have to think about a lot of things as you are beginning to thinking about delegating things off to your team. Okay. So the next tip that I always give to people and to myself on a regular basis is to let it go, but partially. So you never want to hear, of course, your employees will probably not tell you, but you never want to hear that you are a micromanager, right? Nobody likes being micromanaged. I cannot stand it when I used to work for other people. So you want to, as a CEO, if you are entrusting an employee or a contractor to take over something, to take the responsibility of something for you, then, give it to them. Allow them to either prove you right or prove you wrong. I mean, people need chances all the time. There's something that an employee or employer can give their staff more than a paycheck, and that's a sense of confidence and pride. So when you delegate a task to your employee and you're not micromanaging them and you're not just questioning them and being really aggressive, they are going to appreciate the fact that you trust them enough to do whatever it is that you want them to do. I've had a client who had a dog and she needed to catch a flight, but she was running late for the flight and she needed to get her dog to the dog sitter. She assigned the task of her personal assistant to take her dog to the dog sitter and not question him. How fast are you driving? Which route are you taking? Is the doggy in his crate? Does his seatbelt around the crate? Like, she wasn't like all over him. She trusted him with her dog baby to get him from her condo to the dog sitter. And the only time she ever checked in with him was when she was actually on the plane, seatbelt tucked in, and she was ready to go. That was it. And now that employee knew that, oh my gosh, she trusts me with her most prized possession, her dog baby. I feel really good about my position and how she sees my position. So as a CEO, there's tons of ways that you can project positivity and encouragement and pride and trust into your employees by delegating the right way. But, obviously follow up, but not to the level of micromanaging. Okay. Awesome. So the next thing is another tip that I often see a lot of CEOs or owners doing is they will give a lot of rope, right? They'll just give and 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 give all the time, right? But they never instruct. They never will say to an employee, hey, I'm not trying to micromanage you, but I'm a little worried. Are you okay, with this task that I gave you? So I always say to people, don't set your team up for failure. Don't give an unreachable task to someone who is not equipped to do it. Not only will that person feel really crummy about themselves and then their productivity level will go down, but then you will get upset with that particular employee and you will just have probably a horrible day because this business is your baby, it's your world, and now something wasn't done properly. So how do you do that is the question I typically get. Is how do you do that when you're small? You need to actually take time to give extremely clear instructions Like, that's the reason why I say to delegate out of need and not desperation, because when you're desperate, everything has to be done now, right? So you want to do it out of need, right? So in the need, there needs to be clear instructions either given verbally and make sure that your employee takes notes, or you need to send a very clear email and then follow up to make sure that they understand the email. Or you can show them exactly what you're wanting for them to do, so then they can turn around and do it themselves. A lot of tasks in small businesses are fairly new. So it's like the first time we've ever done it, right? So that's why it's extremely important to document things. So I prefer to do things in writing. Even if someone is sitting right here next to me, I want to make sure that I clearly convey things and that they understand and confirm that they understood. But then we can also turn that email into a SOP, a standard operating procedure. So then if anybody else has to do this task again in the future, we don't have to reinvent the wheel, because I'm always about enhancing the wheel, not reinventing the wheel, right? So then the last thing I always try to tell my CEOs is to, ask questions to understand and to not accuse. An accusatory tone will make anybody shut down, right? I don't care if it's from a pastor or if it's from a teacher. If somebody sounds like they're accusing you of doing something wrong or not knowing what you're supposed to do or not understanding, it's going to immediately make a person clam up or go on the defensive. And in delegating, that's not where you want to be. You just want the stuff done, right? Okay. So make sure when you're asking questions to your employees after you've delegated or before you've delegated, you are asking questions to get an understanding, whether that's to get an understanding of the person's level of expertise or to get an understanding of what the person was thinking when they were actually doing the task, if it was done right or incorrectly. And then also asking, what do you think we could do differently, or how can we improve this? And listen. CEOs or owners or presidents or whatever the title is that you decide to call yourself, one of the biggest things I always suggest is to, no matter what, always take the time to listen, because like I learned, you're always learning. You're always going to be improving not only yourself, your business processes, but also your employees are improving too. So as much, slack as we as owners try not to give people, you kind of got to give some when you start delegating. I can tell you a funny story. So like, people will meet me, and if you don't know, I have 5 kids, 13, 12, 10, 7, and 19 months, right? People will meet me and they'll say, oh my gosh, Antonia, you just have so much patience. And, honestly, that is something that I've learned to have over the years. But with my family, with my kids, when I know they know better, or I know I've asked them to do something and I look them in their eyes when I told them to do it and they just don't for whatever reason, I get a little upset. I get a little accusatory. I get a little angry, to be expected. But I have to separate that when it comes to my business. And that's another thing, a tip, I didn't put it in a banner, is to make sure you're separating friendships from business and relationships to business, because you want to be able to get the things done in your business that you need to be done without additional strife or stress. And honestly, it'll help your employees want to do the best for you that they possibly can. So let me know if you have any questions about any of the tips that I gave tonight about how to delegate like a CEO. So let me see just real quick. Takia says, they are awesome tips. They work for other areas too. I think so. I love business so much that a lot of the things that I do in my business, I do in my personal life. Whether that's planning, whether that's learning how to communicate effectively with different types of people, and people who learn differently than I do. I try to implement that in my family. I just don't do it the other way. So things I do in my family, I try my hardest not to do in my business, because then probably nobody would want to work for me because I micromanage my kids. I mean, they're kids. So what can you do, right? Okay, so same spiel as we did as last month. We're going to talk real quick about our Mission 100. So Assist-U has set up a goal to help 100 businesses either launch a new product or service in the next 365 days. Last week, I believe we were at like 11, but today we are at 13. So it's like 2 launches a week. It's crazy. So I'm extremely happy about it. You know what I love most about this Mission 100 is that, and I may have said it before, but I really, really, truly mean it, is that I get to learn about people's businesses. I get to learn about their passions. I get to learn about, their childhood, figure out exactly how they are approaching their business. What are they afraid of, and how that is conveying and parlaying into their business, or what are they excited about? It's a very extremely personal experience, and I'm extremely happy that so many people have entrusted Assist-U to do that for them. Whether it's something small, just a quick fix, or whether it's, can you please help me figure out a strategy to launch this webinar or this course? We are here for people, and honestly, it's the most fun thing I've ever done. I don't know what we're going to do from 2021 to 2022, but hopefully it's something a lot like this, because it is honestly a joy, and I really greatly appreciate it. Let's see. Says, yay, growth. Congrats. Thank you. So her name is pronounced Kia and Takia. It's 2 different people. Thank you so much, Kia. I appreciate it. Okay, so that in a nutshell is our Friday night session. I don't know if we should talk about our goals maybe for September. Maybe we'll do that next session. How about that? We'll talk about our goals for the month of September. I know definitely Assist-U's goals are the same, which is we want to continue to help small businesses launch something, whether it's their business or product. And then also, I believe that we're trying to get in a good 4 new clients this month. So we'll see, on top of the launching. So we'll see. I'm definitely going to continue to send out some proposals and see what happens. And hopefully we can go ahead and get those bids. So let me know what your goals are for September. Takia said she wants to get ready to get into the 4th quarter mind frame. That is so true. So we have some time. Is it okay if we talk a little bit about 4th quarter goals and how to plan just a little bit, just a sneak peek of next week to talk about, 2021? Is that okay with you? I don't see any objections, so let's go ahead and do it. Okay, so I want to talk just a little bit about setting yourself up for success for 2021. So the last 3 months of each year should be your planning months. It should include something like a budget for next year, whether that is a budget that includes all your expenses or just some of them, like a marketing budget versus a full company budget, which would include things like salaries and taxes and advertising budgets. But you definitely want to kind of get a forecast of what you want to spend and what you want to make next year. And just like we've talked about on other lives, you want to back into it, right? In order to find out some of your numbers. So if you say you want to make $100,000 next year, depending on what type of business you have or your average sales price, that will determine exactly how many products or services or retainers or subscriptions you need to have for each month. So you have 3 months towards the end of the year, so definitely take advantage of each one of those days, whether you meet with yourself or your team once a week. It's a topic you definitely want to touch on before the end of the year. Because if you wait until the end of December when all the holidays are here and the sales are going on and all you want to do is shop and eat. If you're anything like me, I just want to shop and eat. You're not going to have time to focus on a budget. It's just not going to happen. So don't even try yourself like that. Right. Other things you want to think about for next year is your brand. Is there anything that you want to change inside of your brand? Are there new brands that you want to launch? Are there new services that you want to add next year? It would be great if you could know within the last 3 months of the year, because then you can set up some email marketing campaigns to do most of the work for you. Touch your audience, let them know, hey, this is coming in 2021. Would you like to sign up for a wait list, right? So there's just a lot of strategic things, and we can dive more into that next Friday session on our next date night. But hopefully these things will kind of get you going, thinking about your strategy for 2021 tomorrow. Anna Jones says, calling Antonia Mason is my goal. I got you, Anna. Absolutely. What we going to be talking about? If it's business, I'm there. So all the time. Okay. So she said, please do. Definitely. So I hope that the tidbits that I gave you, which is, to plan ahead, start planning for your 2021, start figuring out what your 2021 goals are, and then what you need in order to get there. Do the moonwalk back into your goals, right? Because that's what we're always trying to do. And then also think about whether or not you want to launch anything new in 2021. What's funny is someone said to me the other day that your copy should be based on your audience. You could technically launch the same product or service with a different packaging to a different audience. And that could be something new that you could be doing in 2021. Like, for example, I love small business owners. I love solo entrepreneurs, but I seem to be attracting a lot more coaches for some odd reason. So we've definitely picked up on our coaching audience. So that's definitely something I'm going to tap into in this year. I'm going to actually start now. But then also in 2021, we're going to drive that sucker home. So it's definitely in the books and in the plan. So don't sleep on 2021. It's coming, whether you're ready or not. And definitely make sure that when you do decide to delegate, please delegate like a CEO. Okay? All right, you guys, you have a good night. Happy September. And I'll see you on our date night next Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye.